Well, greetings folks, it's time for another episode of Ironkerbal Challenge. Today, I really want to try and get into orbit. Very important to get this contract done. Give us a little bit of science and open the way for more contracts afterwards. The problem is that the parts available are extremely limited, and I've spent literally hours in the fluid dynamics simulator designing a spacecraft with the parts that are available that can actually get into orbit. Right, so here it is, the RX-31, a two-stage, well, three-stage if you include the boosters, rocket designed to get one person into orbit, and that's it. It doesn't have any science, it doesn't have any excess weight on it at all that I'm able to do, because we've got to get this heavy second stage engine into a position to finally go into orbit, and I haven't unlocked the Terrier, which is a much lighter, much more efficient engine, far better suited to the high altitude and low Kerbin operations. So this thing overall has 3,886 meters per second of delta V, which is just enough to get into low orbit if I don't make any mistakes. So this is a real challenge. So there might be a limited amount of live commentary whilst I actually go through the launch, because it's going to be very touch and go, and I need to really concentrate on what I'm doing. One other thing I should mention is that, as I go to the launch pad, I've hired someone to remind me to take science. So in fact what I've done is installed the science alert mod that will then tell me when I can do certain amounts of science, and this is suggesting that I could do an EVA report from up here, but I'm not going to on this occasion, because if Jebediah falls off the ladder he's probably going to die. That's quite a drop. So let's get ready for launch, and hopefully see you in orbit. Here goes. So I've turned off stability control, and hopefully we'll just do a nice, gentle, efficient gravity turn. It's turning over gently. Yeah, it's not looking too bad so far. So we bid farewell to the Space Center. Yep, still not too bad. 45 degrees at 15,000. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but it's close. From the testing I've done, I'll probably have to use some of the fuel in this upper stage to get up to an orbit, and we've got a new world record. It's also time to go to the map and see where our apoapse is getting to. 50, 55, getting there. Oh, and our first stage is burnt out with an apoapse of 70,000. Excellent. So that's going to drop a little bit due to air resistance as we go up, but Jebediah's on the case. If I could just keep pointing the capsule into the direction of travel and reduce resistance. And we got a crew report. Excellent. So that science alert will hopefully stop me from missing out on so much science and help me to make the most out of my missions. So I'm going to switch to fine control mode because this capsule's got a lot of torque now. And a new land distance record. Also nice to see. Coming up on apoapse. Now I need to add another 1,000 meters per second of delta V here, and I don't even know how long it is until apoapse because my tracking center hasn't been sufficiently upgraded. So I'm just going to lock the capsule off there and go for it. Okay, so not quite in orbit, but I'll wait for the greatest efficiency burn at apoapse again and push this periapse up to 72, 75 thousand meters, and we'll be definitely in orbit. So let's try. Can I warp to... No, I can't. Obviously I need to upgrade the tracking center before I can warp to a point on the orbit, so I'm just going to have to manually use time control, time acceleration. Right. Let's find the prograde marker. Now I've had a bit of a brain freeze and I can't remember if that's the prograde or the retrograde, so I'm just going to spin all the way around. Yeah, it was the prograde. Okay. So actually that's not a bad equatorial orbit, given that it was done through aerodynamic turns and eyeballing it, basically. This is going to require a very small delta V change, and we're coming up on apoapse because our vertical velocity is dropping towards 0, so that's just adjust our vector and give it a little puff. There we go. Orbit. Phew! Excellent. Money, science and reputation. And all these records are also adding to the financial stability of our space program. I'll turn the SAS off because I want to save the battery power. Plenty of liquid fuel left, actually. This is a good orbit. Excellent. I'm really pleased with that launch. That couldn't have gone better, frankly. Okay, so that rocket was relatively cheap, and we're relatively well off financially. Well, for some reason it appears that the next video file was corrupted, and I can't load it. But what basically happened was that I upgraded the astronaut complex so that I could do EVAs with the pilot in orbit and gain a lot more science. So we'll come back to the capsule in orbit in the next episode. Until then, take care. Bye.